Never forget your first reactor. Hello, Mark.
Hey Justin, how's it going?
Pretty good. I haven't had too much sleep. Feeling just a little bit tired, but I think I can make it through another
Good deal.
episode. The
Um,
fantastic reactor.
this one may be a bit rough then, because I was up all night last night, almost
What?
all night, because I went to Microconf virtually.
Ooh, exciting.
Yes, it was
Tell
on
us
the
all about
internet.
it. Tell us all about it.
Um, all right, yeah, I'll do that. Then goals, I guess. So it was not what I expected. It was on some chat software that I've never used before,
Okay.
and it was a little bit rough with the interface. I had problems with the audio. Like I heard Rob really clearly in doing like an intro, and then it switched to some speaker, and I couldn't hear anything she was saying. And then like the next speaker was not quite that quiet, but like really quiet. And so I was, I had already like maxed out my volume in the app and on my computer, so I was messaging them, but
Didn't
they
people
fixed
message
it.
and say it was too quiet? Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I felt like the talks were not as interesting as or not as applicable to me as I'd hoped. It seemed like it was aimed more at people a little further along. There was one about like doing your accounting or something, and but there was one that was really interesting with Jason Fried, and then what was really nice was actually just the virtual hallway track.
Hmm.
We had like these one thing that chat app did is it gave us little virtual rooms of people,
Oh, breakout rooms?
breakout rooms, but we could switch to other rooms, and we could also like start a video chat with anybody or send them text messages. And the very first person outside my room who sent me a chat during one of the hallway interludes or whatever it was, turns out he has a wife from Taiwan, and he saw Taipei in my location. He
Hmm.
messaged me about that. He's in Pasadena, and turns out he knows you really well, and he didn't know about this podcast. So, shout out to Richard. That was amazing. Just like what's the serendipity of that? Like first person to contact me from from the hallway
Yeah,
has a
and he
connection
just
with
he
both
just
Taiwan and you.
even within the last, he just came back from Taipei. So he went and spent, was it like 3 years or something? Yeah,
No way.
he went out there and spent 3 years. And so they were a Pasadena family, and then they decided that they wanted to just go out there and spend some major time. I believe it was either 2 or 3 years that they went out just recently, and they've
Oh,
just come back within the last year, maybe year and a half.
so I may have seen him once on the
Yeah,
subway. Like
quite possible.
that's
Yeah,
amazing. And then
yeah.
just like how lucky I am, the next person who contacted me, it turns out, runs the Elixir. Oh wait, no, that was someone in Slack. So okay, so I'll just go through the whole thing. So the next
Yeah,
person who
yeah.
contacted me on video, turns out was like super into Elixir, and then I got access to the Slack, and then I just introduced myself, and someone was like, "Oh, I run Elixir Meetup Denver." And then 2 seconds after that, I was like, "Oh, I run the Elixir Meetup Philadelphia," and they started chatting. And then I got a private message from someone else who knows, not exactly my competitor, but like my predecessor, like the
Mhm.
one of the early Elixir screencasters, who actually who's actually I'd seen their screencast way back in the day, and they raised money and like ran it
Mm.
for a couple of years, but it like they I don't know what kind of pressure or goals they had after raising money, and they shut it down. And so this guy I was chatting with is he sent me an email intro to that guy that like used to be a competitor, or maybe there's a little overlap, but shut his thing down and can maybe share some insights and some warnings for what I have ahead. So
That's very cool.
that was amazing.
So it
Yeah.
was worth you joining up there.
It was just like a jackpot of just meeting the right people.
Mm, that's very
So
cool.
and it was much cheaper because I didn't have to. I mean, it was discounted because it's online. I also didn't have to fly out to the U.S. So
What was the
I
price
think
of it?
It was $50, but I got mine discounted to 25 because I was
To
on
go
the
to the
email
whole
list
thing,
early.
the whole
Yeah,
thing.
yeah, but it's all online.
And it's normally 700.
Yeah. So previous years I had seen Microconf. I was like, oh, this looks like maybe my kind of thing. And then I saw how expensive it was. I was like a conference in Taiwan is like $50 or $100. Then what,
Mm.
700, and I have to fly out to the US. Like it just maybe, once I'm making a lot, but then I shouldn't even go to that one. I should go to growth.
I really wonder if so wait, so you're saying this wasn't growth, this was starter, but still that it wasn't too enough focused on starter.
I didn't hear anything about starter or growth. I think this
Oh,
is like a special coronavirus
okay, coronavirus, yeah.
remote,
Hmm.
So I think maybe this is great because um, I don't think there's any case where starter would ever make sense for me unless maybe I had a full-time job, but I was just kind of like a entrepreneur on the side.
Hmm.
And growth, I'm not there yet,
Yeah,
but this was perfect.
yeah, an in between. You're an in between.
I'm frugal. I'm so frugal I can only be served by giant companies that give things away for free.
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah, good job.
it was totally worth the money. It was cool.
Mm, awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm glad. I I didn't realize it. I didn't actually look at the price. If it was that, if I'd have seen it was that low, I might have considered it. But to be honest, I'm so overloaded with all the stuff I got going. Um,
Well, I'll
probably.
see you in the chat sometime.
Yeah, now you're in the
I'm in the chat. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. That's great. Good job.
So I took a note of our goals right before the show,
Okay.
and my goals last time were twofold. One was the diet, just do the fasting. My goal was 3 days. I only did it one day, and pretty much the reason I failed on it was social. Like it wasn't like I just ran out of normal willpower. It was like my friends were like, "Hey, come on over to my place," and then
Mm,
it didn't work out so well. But my stomach is still same size as last week,
nice.
123, which is still got to lose a lot, but I'm already minus 6 centimeters from the beginning.
Yeah.
And exercise wise, I can do one more dip than I could before. Did
Oh, that's
17
cool.
today. So
Nice.
I don't know I don't know how apparent it is, but I have maybe lost a little bit of my gut.
Well, we've never seen your gut before, so
Well, I'm not I'm laughing. I'm not going to put that on the internet.
yeah. But no, that's cool. That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's cool. Nice job.
And I saw you made some progress too, because your goals were get as many of the 5 Zoom interviews you wanted done and announce the boot camp to everyone. And I saw the announcement.
Yeah, so I got the boot camp announcement done. I didn't do any of the Zoom interviews. Complete fail on that. Um, we did close the last week by me saying that I was getting that mini trampoline, and
Hmm.
I got the mini trampoline, and my new goal is to exercise on that every day. And since
Okay.
I've had it, I have used it. So I did 10 minutes on Friday. This is like basically jumping around.
Yeah.
And it's kind of painful for me because I haven't done any movement for a long time, and especially jumping and with a lot of weight, it does kind
Yeah.
of hurt my
Yeah.
back. But apparently, what this can really help you do is like, you know, help your back, fix your back.
Oh, that's good.
So
You didn't break a leg.
I'm definitely I didn't break a leg, and I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made with the walking desk, which was basically spend an entire day on it and then not be able to walk for a month. So I am certainly not going to make that error.
Yeah. Well,
So I did 10 minutes. So I did 10 minutes Friday, 10 minutes Saturday, 15 minutes Sunday, 50 minutes Monday, 50 minutes Tuesday, and today is Wednesday.
mhm.
So I will do that 15 minutes at some point later. So my goal. So by the way,
15 a day. That's pretty good.
15 a day for next week, and
Yeah.
I'm going to try and get it up to 30 the week after, maybe.
One suggestion. I'm not an expert in trampolines or jumping, but I used to do a lot of running. I still run.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do the same thing every day. I would maybe do like 3 or 4 days a week,
Okay.
and maybe the other days just spend the time stretching or walking or something
Oh,
else.
why does that make a difference?
Well, it's kind of similar to weightlifting. You know, your muscles need time to recover, and if you do the same thing every day, they don't recover. So, running's not as bad as weightlifting unless you're sprinting, and then you like really would have a hard time quickly. But like you usually want to start like 3 to 5 days a week if you're like really really in shape. Like when I was doing more than 100 miles a week, I was running 7 days a week, but I wasn't going hard every day. I was still going, you know, I still had easy days and hard days, and I had easy weeks and hard weeks. It just, if you do the same thing every day, you never get a rest.
I was thinking of doing it not in that capacity. So I've got and this I don't know if this is different to what you're talking about, but so I've got this personal trainer who I'm using for
Mm-hmm.
resistance stuff. What just 1 day a week on Wednesdays. The
Mm-hmm.
point of the trampoline was because I'm too much of a lazy ass to go outside and walk, and
Oh.
um, I'm doing sort of just light stuff, bringing my heart rate up to like a fat burning type of level, like 100, 110. It's really not high intensity in any way. Um, so I was just thinking of getting the time in of just just trying to bump it up to maybe 30 minutes a day of just fat burning
You know what I
cardio.
might do is like instead of 15 every day, I might go like 10, 20, 10, 20, and
Okay,
then
yeah.
take one day off a week at least.
Okay,
That way,
yeah. I'll try that. Yeah, sure.
yeah. It's it's just a thing. I mean, like I have run so much. I used to do more than a marathon just like in training, not even races, just you know,
Wow.
once or twice a month. I've run while super overweight like I am now, and I've never had like a knee injury or anything like that. And I
Okay.
think the main thing is just because I do have like rest days and, you know, easy days
Cool.
and easy
Okay.
weeks. So
That's sweet.
that's just my 2 cents.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So a lot of teammates get injured. So
Taken on board. But also keeping in mind running is like a high impact exercise, like jumping on that's the whole point of the Bellicon.
yeah,
It's
yeah. So
zero impact.
that you still need like your muscles still have to recover, but yeah, it's
Yeah.
different. Like
Yeah.
jump roping, I've done before, and that's like super high impact for me, like
That,
harder than running.
oh, really? Interesting.
Oh, for
Okay.
sure. But I wasn't on a trampoline. I was on
Yeah.
asphalt outside my
Yeah.
house. So
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
This is like this will be an interesting one. Well, that sounds like uh, pretty decent progress then, despite
Mm-hmm.
everything.
Yeah.
Um, any any other news? Like,
Well, with the boot camp, so basically I sent it out to the list, and the list is about 4,500, and it's a super cold list. And I was expecting around 100 people to maybe click into it. And more than 100 people clicked, but from an email perspective, when you look in there, but how many people actually bothered to go through the sign up and get into the boot camp was around about 100. So it's kind of what I was expecting. Um, Now, none of those. The first guy who went through, it was really clear that it was going to turn into a sale. Um, there's been about 10 people who've gone through the whole boot camp now, and it's not looking like it's even close to a sale for any of them. Um, so I don't know. It could just be dumb luck. I mean, that's definitely happened to me before, where you sort of building something, and in the middle of it, someone stumbles in, and then they become a customer just by fluke, by luck.
yeah, yeah.
you know so I thought, oh yeah, I've nailed it. I've got a great funnel that's working, because I initially sent it out to Mateo when before there was a boot camp, and I'd sent out 7 lessons and he signed up, and then this other guy went through it and he started reaching out to me and talking, and he signed up. But now 10 more people have gone through and they haven't. So I'm just going to sit there and experiment with it and see what happens. I'm just going to try different ways of sort of touch points, reaching out to them. Like none of them have even. So when they got to the page number 9, it says you've leveled up. Now you've unlocked the academy. None of them have even like clicked the academy link to go and look at the video and answer
Oh,
the quiz.
but they've gotten to level 9.
Yeah, they've got to page 9, and they've. So I'm like,
Okay.
So why? You know what? Why?
That's
Why?
interesting because I was thinking that you meant like the 100 were all on like page 3 or 4, and they just like weren't making progress. But
Oh no, no. So it's the percentage of people going through it is holding strong. So like 55% of people have clicked to page two.
Mhm.
28% of people have clicked to page three. 20% page four. 16% page five, and all the way down to the final page, just 11% of people have completed it from 100%.
That's
Yeah.
still not bad for 9 pages.
No, no, no. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm. What the issue is of the 11%, there's essentially 10 people who've got to the end,
Yeah.
and of those 10, no one has purchased.
That's the weak link.
That's the weak link. Now, the
Yeah.
first person who got there purchased. So I thought, yay, this is gonna be a converting journey. But it needs some more work. The final
Did
part of it.
did the first person purchase right away, or was it delayed?
It was kind of delayed. I'm looking for the similarities. He took 4 days to get through the whole thing. Um, there's really only there's a couple of other people who've taken 4 days, but they're already Academy members. So
Okay.
so they
Sounds
don't.
like
Yeah.
sounds like you need more data.
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Need more
It's
data.
you can't really A/B test anything with 10 people.
I know that's true. That
Yeah.
is true. Like so I guess the next thing is to launch it is to try launching it to Product Hunt and to Hacker News and to do the SEO stuff.
So you reminded me of something. So
Yeah.
you always get product of the day on Product Hunt. I am now for my new blog. I am on like the median result is it gets to number 2 on Hacker News.
So what is it? What's your secret?
I don't have a secret. I just have ideas. I've got a list of ideas, and then I'm like, all right, I'm going to write this one, and I write it, and they're not like it's not a uniform response. Like there's one I wrote where everybody like willfully misinterpreted and got pissed off. There's one I wrote where it was like very positive. This last one was more positive than not. It was actually very based on like the region they were in, because I was talking about educational discounts versus region discounts. So obviously a lot of people in Asia were like very on board with my idea of region discounts being a better way to go.
Hmm.
Probably the next morning, a lot of American students were like, no, I deserve, like, I don't care if I'm fortunate to be in school here in a rich country. I want the discount.
Read us the blog
So
post titles that hit the front page of Hacker News there.
they hit the front page. Okay.
Just read us your blog post titles so we'll get a sense of what you're
Sure. Yeah,
topping
that'll
with.
be quick because I've only got 9 of them. So the first one was Alchemist Camp 2019 year in review. It made it to number 4,
Okay.
and it was actually the best converting by far for getting email addresses.
Okay.
The next one was why managing subscribers with tags is a bad idea. Did not make it on Hacker News. Did make it on Indie Hackers. Next one was, quote, everything is done. That didn't make it on either. Got some upvotes, but no real traction. Next one was web apps aren't necessarily tech. They're tech in quotes. And that one went straight to the front page and got flagged, and then went back to the front page and lasted longer. Uh,
Okay.
then costs are part of scalability. Lots of points on Indie Hackers, nothing on Hacker News. My best SEO tactic so far did very well on Hacker News. That was my best one on Hacker News.
Okay.
Like stayed number 2 for hours and front page for a whole day.
Hmm.
Um, then the last one is why I don't give .edu discounts. And that's probably the second best performing. It stayed the
Okay.
front page maybe 12 hours.
And so you just submit, is there a certain time that you submit it, or what do you think the reason, like,
Just whenever I finish. I think it maybe part of it's like I've written decently well. Like I used to have a blog, like going back to 2005. And I had tens of thousands of readers per month writing about learning Chinese in Taiwan and teaching English and um,
Yeah,
stuff I was into.
but the thing is, like with Hacker News, if you go to the new page, depending on the time of day you submit, stuff goes by really quickly, and I've seen some
Because
amazing stuff not get anywhere.
well, this
So
this last one didn't. I don't believe it got an upvote before going off the front of the new page. It actually got an upvote on page 2 of new, and then
yeah.
it got another one, and then it was somewhere far down in the normal Hacker News page.
So
So
what time are you submitting it?
it's completely random.
Just random. Okay.
Yeah, it's just like whenever I finish writing it, I'll if it's like super late and I need to sleep, or if it's like early and I need a nap or like whatever, I'll probably sleep on it and then submit it after I get up. Otherwise, I'll just submit as soon as I'm done writing.
Because every success I've had on Hacker News has been submitted on Sunday morning, US time.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the reason is because I do tend to write good stuff that's interesting to this crowd, and it's sort of going by slowly enough, and people are in a mood for like a Sunday morning type of read, and so then it gets there, and it really does stick around for the full Sunday and a Monday kind of
Okay.
thing. Yeah.
So here are mine. First one was I wrote it on Sunday, but I submitted on Monday. Next one that made it the front
Monday
page.
what time though? Monday what time?
I have
What
no
time
idea.
In America?
It was probably like 4 a.m.
Yeah, I see. So that's a real slow.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway,
The next one I wrote on Monday, submitted on Tuesday.
okay.
That was a controversial one. Then
Yeah.
the one that did the best, I submitted on Friday.
Hmm.
And the one that I just told you about, I submitted on Sunday here, but it would have been Saturday in America. So I
Cool.
don't know.
Yeah.
I mean,
Okay.
Sunday is slightly more
Interesting.
represented,
Interesting.
but I I think that the biggest thing is the title.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I think the second biggest thing is my username, and I think the third biggest thing is like what I've actually written and just how what people pick out of the first paragraph, any images, and then the bottom.
What is your username?
Alchemist Camp.
Oh, okay. So you think that adds to people noticing it?
Well, I'm not really well known on Hacker News, but I have been on with this account since let me check right now, since the end of 2018, and I have 1,600 some karma. So I think maybe, I don't know.
That's cool. I got some karma on Hacker News from when Elon Musk did his Neuralink
That was
stuff.
a good comment. I like that one. Um, sort of related to this. Did you see the Twitter discussion with Alex Hillman and Justin Jackson about audience first or not?
No, no, tell me. No, I didn't. I'd love to
Okay,
hear about that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'll put a link to it. Well, it's interesting. So Justin Jackson is like a long time indie hacker. Now he's known for his podcast app,
Yeah.
and Alex Hillman is also a long-term indie hacker. He's involved in 30 by 500, which is an online course for entrepreneurs, and a co-working space in Philadelphia. And Justin Jackson's like now believing less and less about building an audience first. He said he thinks it's really about finding a wave, and because that's what he did with his podcasting app. Like he's done lots of other things before that did okay, and he had some audience, and he did podcasting, he blogged a lot, built up a lot of audience, but podcast hosting was just exploding 2 years ago, and that's when he got into it. And like he certainly didn't like win the whole market or anything. There are plenty of other competitors, but the whole market's grown so much. He's got a big business out of it. So that was his take. And Alex Hellman was on the audience first is really important side, and what people mean by audience first is often misinterpreted. Like they're thinking audience first means email list first, or they're thinking I forgot what the other one was, but it was an interesting discussion. So I'll
Yeah,
post
and
it because you've been talking about audience.
it's a super important discussion as well. And there's different. You see, even Justin Jackson's own advice. He has a video that I've seen about it somewhere that talks about how you shouldn't really listen to what anyone says online because their perspective is different to when they started out in this. So when they were in the same place that you're in, they were thinking and feeling different things, and now they're further down the line and they're being successful, and that success is their own context. So it's sort of what happened to
Yeah.
them, and so now they're sort of thinking, oh, that's how you do it. That's the success formula, and he's even said that, and he's actually. It sounds to me like he's making his own mistake. You're backgrounding me right now.
Sorry, I was trying to find the tweet.
Okay, no worries.
Busted.
So it's like he's even sort of talking against his own advice, which is super interesting. I agree 100% with Alex Hillman in what he's talking about. That people mean different things. So there's different aspects of audience, in my opinion. The first thing is just practice at building an audience. Like there's no way that Justin Jackson would have succeeded if he hadn't practiced at building an audience. Like he practiced at blogging, he practiced at selling. He basically did the exact level up thing that I talk about in the boot camp. Like he started out as a level 1, he did blogging, he sort of learned what it was like. Then he was like communicating with Amy Hoy, and she said, your blog is super unfocused. You need to focus it a bit more. So then he was like, oh man, that's a really harsh criticism, but I'll focus it a bit more. And then he started just focusing on indie founders and started building that audience. And then he sold his, marketing for what was it, techies, something like that. But anyway,
Marketing for developers. I think
the point is his path has been a path of leveling up, and the stuff that he's talking about catching a wave, no one's going to do that on their first product. like that's
maybe they'll get very lucky, but
I mean maybe, but that's basically going straight to level 4, skipping out level 1 through level 4. So I'm not saying that you're going to make some huge amount of money by learning how to build an audience. What I'm saying is it's something that needs to be in your tool belt. It's something you need to understand how to do. And there's a few different ways of growing that audience, because basically audience people is the soil that turns your project into money. And one of them is by doing what you're doing with Hacker News and blogging and growing an audience that way. Another one is by doing SEO, which is what you're kind of doing with your clips and stuff that you're doing on
for this channel.
Well, you're doing that for this channel, but you're doing it for Alchemist Camp. I mean, basically pushing out clips. You're essentially doing SEO on to some extent on YouTube, but there's also SEO on Google. That's another way of just like natural organic traffic. Type in keywords and stuff. And then PPC. So there's those 3 different ways, and you just need to learn how one or more of them and get good at it. And that's when you can start sort of leveling up and selling stuff. So I'm just saying, yes, for his level, it makes a lot of sense what he's talking about.
My first reaction when I saw his tweet before I saw Alex Hillman's was he had audience and a wave.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
So it's like he doesn't know how much his audience helped him. Like maybe the wave was so powerful he'd be about in the same spot, or maybe he wouldn't have been able to break through the noise and be one of those top 10 or whatever hosts that people consider. So
Bill Gross,
it was good. It's good.
Bill
chat,
Gross has
definitely.
a video, like a TED talk. The most important, Bill Gross has Idea Lab, and they've been working for years, like 20 years. They've done so many different ideas. Every time Bill has an idea, he turns it into a business. And, they've done a lot of analysis on what makes it successful. And basically his ultimate realization was, or this is his ultimate belief, is the most important thing in a successful startup is timing. And I think that's he's saying exactly what Justin Jackson's saying.
Did he do a TED talk or
I
something
just
about
said that.
that?
Yeah, TED Talk. Yeah,
Okay,
he did TED Talk.
I've
Yeah,
seen that. I've seen
yeah.
that.
And,
Yeah.
and that's what Justin Jackson's saying as well is to catch a wave. But again, that is relevant, especially relevant. The more successful you are, the more high you are up the ladder. So for Bill Gross, I mean, he's only dealing with billion-dollar companies. He wants to create a unicorn every time. That's his thing, you
Hmm.
know. Unicorn, like if it does less than 100 million, he's not even whatever.
So he's not going to jump in and be like the seventh Elixir screencaster to compete with me.
No,
Okay.
but you know, and Justin Jackson's like he's sort of lower down the totem pole of like success factor type of thing. I mean, it can still be pretty big what he's doing, but for example, there's no wave of to-do apps right now. But someone who built an audience could go and build a successful to-do app. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So yeah,
That reminds me of a different thing I saw on Twitter from Peter Levels.
yeah.
There is apparently a wave of uptime monitoring apps. He
Oh,
said
interesting.
he said everybody and their cousin's pet goldfish is making an uptime monitoring app, and all the replies were like, "Well, to do apps are boring. Like, I'm going to make something."
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah. So I've got another bit of news here, or actually
Sure.
two more bits.
Okay.
So one is the Amazon segment, and then the other is the Facebook segment. The
Okay.
Amazon bit, it's been a little bit of a tough week. So the same Alex Hellman I just mentioned on Twitter wrote a book called The Tiny MBA. I pre-ordered it. I picked the Kindle version. I was all excited about it. Paid my $7 or $10 or whatever it was, and then got this message on my Kindle when I tried to download it. Oh, this format's not supported on this Kindle. So I was like, really? It's like a Kindle Paperwhite. Does the third generation not support stuff newer ones do? Then I found out it doesn't work on any like traditional Kindles. It only works on like the Kindle Fire, like the like iPad like device. None of the e-ink devices.
Huh.
And then I saw in Alex's Twitter that I guess a lot of people had said this, and the reason this book he published doesn't work on my Kindle is because he used Amazon's officially recommended software to create an ebook, and it creates a I think a KPF file or KDF file instead of a .mobi,
Okay.
and that one only works on the Fire. Maybe maybe in the future it'll work on both, or there'll be some fix.
But
But
assuming he probably just republished it, right?
no, what he did is he just wrote a blog post, and because people on Twitter were replying to this, he was like, "Hey, just send me, just email me a copy of your receipt. I'll give you a DRM free version."
Oh, okay.
So I took him up on that. Got a DRM free version. It was great, and it made me really a bit hesitant to use Amazon's publishing tools. And I was also a little concerned, like if I like in the future when I go to Amazon.com, if I want to buy a Kindle book and I click Kindle version and I buy it, like will that work on my Kindle? So that sucked.
Yeah.
But they seriously redeemed themselves because I bought some physical goods to be shipped out here to Taiwan, some clothes, and also a microphone, which will work much nicer than this
Oh, the Blue Yeti. Yeah.
Yeti. This is a Yeti Nano, and
Okay.
it's a fine mic, but I have a noisy air conditioner, which I hope you can't hear right now. Just not the quietest apartment, so I want a dynamic mic, and I have one. It's been shipped out to me. The first attempt to ship it was a complete disaster. The local delivery company called me once while I was in the shower, and then they were just like, "Oh, well, I guess that didn't work," and then marked it undeliverable, and then they were going to send it back to the U.S. And I saw that on my Amazon order status page. I was like, "What?" So I got on chat, and I don't know what they did, but They fixed all the things, and I got all my stuff delivered. Shipment intact. Microphone, boom arm, or a shock. What was that called? Like a boom mount or
Sure.
shock arm
Boom
or
out.
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, like so next time I should have one of those like more professional like dynamic mics
That'd
closer
be
to my
cool. So the
face.
show might sound a bit better, and we can
It
use
should sound better.
the recording instead of using the Zoom recording. We can use the uh, audio hijack audio.
Or I think even the quality of the Zoom recording will be better because it won't have to do as much noise correction.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
you mentioned that you got the Tiny MBA from Alex Hillman. Do you have you started reading it yet?
No, due to the whole fiasco
Oh,
I
okay.
mentioned. So you know, like my experience with Amazon this week is, you win some, you lose some.
Well, let's read it. It'd be good to get a review of that over the next couple of weeks.
Oh yeah, I think it'll be pretty fast because it's not a big book.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. And so that's good about the mic. I'm a bit skeptical of that mic looking at it.
Oh really?
Yeah, looking at the picture, but interesting to see what happens. It looks like a regular type of Shure SM58 type of mic, and I wouldn't have thought
So
that that was good for podcasting, but
the
we'll see.
way I arrive, it's a Samson Q2U, I
Yeah.
believe. The way that I arrived at it is Ben Orenstein, the host of Art of Product, had posted a while ago or tweeted a while ago. Don't get that Yeti mic. Get an Audio Technica ATR 2100 dynamic mic, and that's no longer sold.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just like it cannot be gotten. And I saw a review of its successor from Pat Flynn on YouTube. I didn't even know he's on YouTube, and he recommended the one that I got as like the closest thing to the Audio Technica that's no longer sold.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I think it's a slightly more expensive mic than my current one, and I think any equivalent mic that's dynamic instead of this cardioid should be better.
Yeah. No, that's cool. Yeah. So I'm just looking at a comparison between the Shure the SM58 by Shure. I wouldn't have thought of it as like a podcasting mic, but that's just my bias, I think, just my musician's bias. Okay, no
Oh,
worries. Cool.
what's a Shure?
It's so the mic that you've got there is modeled on the Shure SM58, which is like an absolutely classic mic of all time.
Oh,
Um,
okay,
if
okay.
you just Google Shure SM58, you'll see it,
Hmm.
and then
Well, I'd be
click on
curious
images.
what if you look at Audio Technica ATR 2100. I'd be curious what you thought of that.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, I'll
Yeah.
look at that after the show, sure.
And I'll
Well,
put
we'll see what
links. I'll
happens.
put affiliate links to all these things in the show notes.
Uh, yeah, because you're going to make a lot of cash that way
It's what
with
Pat
our
Flynn
10
did.
listeners. With our 10
Yeah. Oh
listeners.
no. It's gotten better. The podcast traffic is roughly the same as it was. Like we had 3 or 4 amazing episodes, like 14 through 17. Then 18 and 19 not so good. Stay Cool and Automate didn't really resonate, but the last 2 have picked up a lot. So we're at like 110 listens the last 7 days.
We could knock that out of the park if we push to Spotify.
I don't think so. I mean, you might get it up to 111, but
But you are going to
the
push to Spotify, right?
I'm not. I think we should talk about that offline because
Oh, you
I'm not a fan of it, and I'm also not a fan of pushing to Amazon Music, even though that's growing much faster than Spotify and will almost definitely be bigger, at least in a year or so. Because I couldn't have just said that thing I did about about the microphone or
yeah,
about
but
the Kindle book.
yeah, but I think this is good to talk about on the show. Like, why you couldn't have said that thing technically, but it's not like they're
I
actually
would
gonna.
have signed an agreement online saying I won't.
So you have to do that because you don't with
You
Spotify.
have to agree to the terms of service. So Spotify has different terms of services, and they give up a lot. Basically, gives them the right to do a lot of things with your content, redistribute it, play it along ads, do different formats of it, and I'm not sure I want to give that up.
But you're
It
not
may
giving it
be.
up across. You're not like that's only within their walled garden that they do that
No,
stuff
no,
in.
no, no. Like we could sign that and
Mm.
then get on Spotify, and then 10 years later, so maybe 3 years later, when I'm a big deal in some way, Spotify will be putting my image next to all, or like making animated videos with my voice and your voice in them or something. Like I just like I think they're offering a very bad deal. They're basically, I see them as very much like what Medium was like for blog pub, or actually it's more like Facebook. It's like they're making a totally walled garden. And I like the open web, which is what RSS is. It's like why my blog isn't entirely on LinkedIn or something like that.
Okay, well, could you edit the podcast and just cut me out and all the stuff with me, put that on Spotify, and then leave you off Spotify. So at least half of this podcast is on Spotify.
Yeah, I'll just put your audio files there.
No, I'm kidding. I'm just joking.
Yeah, that would
I'm
that
just,
would be that
I'm
would be
being an
funny.
idiot.
No, that would be a worthy troll.
That would be a worthy troll. Yeah.
People are like, I don't like the Spotify version as much,
This podcast is weird. It's just like one guy talking to blank air
and then pausing.
and then pausing. Yeah.
Yeah. Um,
Okay. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just put texting on Spotify. It just took a couple of minutes. But I mean,
yeah.
okay. If you feel super strongly about it, I'm not going to get too
I'm
depressed.
not. I mean, if I feel medium strongly about it, like if I thought it would 10x the traffic, like if they just became gigantic, completely dethroned Apple and Google, and like
What
it,
about
it's a
can
it
you
would have
can
to be
you
a 10x difference.
can you reverse out of the agreement? Like if you agree, is it for life, or can you take it off there and then it's reversed?
I don't think you can. I think whatever you've put on there, you've already given that permission for.
It'd be interesting to know because then you could run
Yeah.
a test and see if it does make a difference to traffic. Well, I'll tell you with texting
Well, my
anyway.
friend Ian, or sorry, my friend Liam,
Yeah.
did that. He tried putting on Spotify,
What
and
happened?
it's
Nothing.
no difference. Yeah, no
Yeah. Okay.
difference.
Okay. Fair
Um,
enough.
and a counterpoint is like Joe Rogan did not go on Spotify until very recently, and he told what's the machine learning guy, Lex Friedman, told him he actually thought it would be bad for his growth to go to Spotify because he's giving up YouTube, but he just like wants to be less restricted or something like that. So
Yeah. Yeah. YouTube restrict him, and YouTube can basically go ahead and just cut him off at any point.
yeah, but YouTube wouldn't restrict people like us, I don't think. So
No. No, because we're not talking about
unless there's
those.
like there'd have to be
We're
like
not doing
some
something
really
like saying something against coronavirus. You see, Joe Rogan says does have people on who
his
say,
guests. He
you know,
has like all kinds of
coronavirus is
people,
bad. Yeah.
literally like all kinds of
Yeah.
guests. Now, I think it doesn't seem like like there may be like a tiny growth benefit, kind of like syndicating to Medium or not, or maybe not even that big, but it's
Yeah.
I think it's like Apple is clearly the big dog. Like everyone's going off, like almost like 95% of the podcast apps just go off of whatever the Apple Music, formerly known as iTunes listing,
Hmm.
is. They just use
Yeah.
that feed. And Google Play is like definitely the next biggest one. I think Amazon's gonna shoot up pretty big too.
Hmm.
But if Spotify were like massive and they're like we'll just make you grow like crazy and run lots of ads on it, then who cares?
Hmm.
That's my thought.
Okay.
I'll sell
Um,
out, but it's gotta I drive a hard bargain.
all right, fair enough. No worries. Well, they have lots of look, we've got a couple of thousand listeners on texting, and only one person's ever mentioned Spotify. So yeah.
Oh well, yeah, I'm sure it'll happen
Hmm.
now that they roped in Joe Rogan.
um, so how about goals?
Goals. Well, before goals, got one more update.
Ooh.
Sorry, it's been an eventful week.
Ooh.
Um, the so I am off the island, or actually I'm remaining on the island of Taiwan, and No, no,
Oh, no Facebook
not
job?
going any further with Facebook. So again, like the algorithm side was easier than I expected, but I made some pretty bad mistakes. Like actually wrote some Elixir string functions instead of JavaScript ones. I forgot I did like string.contains instead of like
But that can't be the reason
string.
why they didn't hire they.
I think that like JavaScript fluency is something like they do the interview in whatever language you pick. It just I had to pick out of a selection of four that I'm not using that much. But what surprised me is they know that I'm like getting into Rust and learning more Rust, and the recruiter said that they would be interested in having me do an interview in that, which I didn't even know was on the table. And I'm not ready for that yet because I'm still like kind of a Rust newbie. I've only done like a couple little projects with it. So I'm probably gonna do one more round, one more round of interviews like early next year.
Okay.
Yeah. So it kind of went sideways, but it's like something I don't have to think about at all
So
now. Like
did
the
they say
distraction.
did they say we want to stop this process, or did you say?
Oh, they did because the last interview I was just slower than I should have been, and maybe that's I think a huge part of it is just that I'm not not working with JavaScript all the time like I was several years ago, but also maybe I haven't been doing that kind of interview for a long time, or maybe because it was like my 2 a.m. or 3 a.m. or whatever
I
time.
find that
So
so bizarre, you know. I
that
just
they
find it
would
very bizarre.
that they would say no, but you're still in the pike, come back. I think lots of the companies do that. Like they will re-interview people after a certain amount of time. So I
Oh,
don't know.
that's
I think
I
it's
find
I think it's fairly low probability, but you know, I feel at least like I feel at least like getting as far as I did and the really positive feedback early on. Like I think I have not lost all of my skills from when I was in the Bay Area.
you still got it, baby.
Yeah, that's right. So
Um,
that's the end of the Facebook story.
yeah, cool. I like I was saying, I just find it bizarre that 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 would be a factor. I I don't know. Like I just want people to demonstrate that they're pretty good at coding and they've got a good brain and that they're very problem oriented. You know, they can solve problems,
Mm-hmm.
and then just experience what it's like to work with them. You know,
Yeah,
that's how I hire people. It's what they do is
but
very,
you're doing very different. You're solving very different problems, and you're at
I
a very
guess.
different size place. Like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think the bigger the place, like first of all, like algorithmic questions will matter way more because they have real scaling problems, and then two, you're way more likely to be working on library code or like deep infrastructure code, and it's just like maybe the guts of JavaScript really do matter for whatever position they'd want to put me in.
I
So
guess.
yeah,
Yeah. Okay. Fair
so
enough.
that's
All right. So goals then.
what it is. Goals: get my microphone hooked up,
Okay.
record. I've got to like seriously up the production on screencasts. Um, Also, gonna try to. Hopefully, I can take some of these connections from Microconf and make something come of them. So I'm gonna follow up with each of the people I met, try to see if there's any new opportunity related to that something I can do for Alchemist Camp. And then diet, try to get 3 days of fasting, but one or two I'd still be okay with.
Okay. Got it. All right. You can do it. Okay. My goals are um, 15 minutes of jumping every day. I'm going to completely ignore your advice about skipping a day.
Fair enough.
Um, that's one goal. Another goal is no dairy. I have been
Oh,
terrible about that. I'm having way too much dairy and my blood sugar has been bad, I think, because of it. So just
oh
no dairy
right.
for a week. No dairy for the entire week. No dairy. and my focus is going to be Slider Roblox game. Because I think it's got I think it's got a faster path to revenue than Nugget. I really think that it's gonna have more money coming in faster. So
how far is it from being launchable?
that's what I need to do. I need to spend the week focus on juicing it up. So basically, I don't know if I haven't really shown or spoken about what Slider is, but basically, the game is you're on an island in the middle of space
In Roblox game.
in Roblox, and there is 7 different challenges, and each challenge is you running along these sort of sliding platforms that fire you along, and you complete the challenge, and then there's a bonus round to come back to the island, and it's cool, and nothing like it that I've seen exists in Roblox, so it's gonna be kind of cool game. But what you can say?
I am super curious to see that launch.
Yeah. But so what's cool is that Dylan, who's a Nugget Academy member, who we're helping in the blogging channel in Nugget, you're part of the blogging Slack. He is very long-term games developer. He's written a library that's used by a lot of thousands of people, games library, and so he has a pretty good idea about how to build games that what you need to do, like the basics. So he's sort of talking to me about things like juicing. So he's sending me really cool, not TED Talks, but YouTube videos about juicing games and what it means and what difference it makes. And so it's just the little polish that you add. It's like when they run, the one thing I just added is trails. Like, so it's like wind trails. So as you're sort of running down the sliders, it's like this wind effect behind you. It sort of looks like you're going kind of faster because it's like,
Yeah.
Another thing is like going through bonus hoops to sort of make it like sparkle and things come out. And then we're putting these pills around the place so that you can collect the pills to get your power. And then
over the top positive feedback.
Yeah, over the top positive feedback. And just, so that's what I'm going to spend this week doing, is just making it really kind of polished and snazzy and juiced up. And then I think the week after, we're going to be working on the dynamics of like, okay, instead of making it so that they can just run on all of the different levels right now, because they're different hardnesses, there's some of them are easy, some of them hard. We're going to sort of do like an XP thing. We had this discussion about
XP.
Yeah,
you asked me about that.
Yeah. So I'm going to, the XP is going to basically experience points. They're going to earn experience points based on what they do. And then they're going to level up, and then the level up is going to unlock the challenges. So right now everything's open. So it just needs to be structured,
Are you going to make the experience points go up pretty linearly, or will it be exponential or something in between?
It's going to be the 1.5. So basically
multiplier each
time? 1.5.
Okay, yeah, exponential.
Yeah. So they they need to get to level 1, they need 200 experience points, but to get to level 20 they need like 100,000 experience points, kind of thing.
Sounds like a lot of games I played as a kid.
Yeah. So yeah, and it's just a lot of fun. I really like that. I'm really enjoying that, and like Nugget is, people are going through it, and I'll just sort of, I might add a couple more just touch points, like connect with me sort of things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not really doing that very well right now. Maybe when they finish it, when they get to page 9 or when they get to page 7 or something like that.
One thing that I've noticed that I think is a huge improvement is the Slack is starting to pick up.
Yeah. Well, because everyone can get into the Slack now. I've just made it, freely available for everyone.
Oh, okay. Maybe that's a really good move.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Cool.
All right, dude. So that's me.
All right. Well, see you next week then.
Okay.
All right. Later.
Cheers.